Beyond the Scoreboard 2014. Brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard again with you. I'm Mark Smothers, your host, and Robin Netherton is our co-host here. And we appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate our sponsors, Country Financial with Lee Powell and the insurance agency there, and also they do some investing for people. And also Wallace State Community College.
Yeah, that's right. Wallace State's a great campus. It's a real benefit to our community and our schools. And Lee Powell is a real professional, a great guy. I actually got to play golf with him recently. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Did he cheat?
I don't think we kept score after 9 holes. But yeah.
Okay.
Great guy.
That's a good idea not to keep score.
Right.
Okay. And I just kept score. Been down to Chick-fil-A, and I gave them a 98.
It was our pleasure. It was
Yes,
really good.
it
Chick-fil-A, always professionals. Those folks down there in the Coleman Chick-fil-A off Cherokee Avenue are great, and they hooked us up with some great food.
It was good. That's as good as chicken sandwich you can get.
That's right. And their diet lemonade's out of this world.
It is out of the container sometimes.
Yeah, right, it is. And we got to see them spill a little bit.
All right. But anyway, we're going to get into showing you the little bit of footage from the team of the week. Last week's team of the week for this week was Fairview Aggies. They had a great game last week.
Coleman Electric Cooperative and TV 27 recognized one of our area high schools as our team of the week. Coach, week one presents unique challenges for every team, but your group of guys, more so than anybody last week, had some adversity handed to them and showed a lot of determination and their ability to overcome that. So in recognition of your victory last week, not only beating a county rival to start the season, but also winning at your new home away from home for this year, we're going to recognize the Fairview Aggies as our team of the week. We've got t-shirts for you and your players and all the cheerleaders. Coach, congratulations. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Here we got Fairview. We got to see this game last week against Hanceville, and Fairview came out and looked really good. That quarterback was very impressive, and their line and just their whole unit's very well coached.
Yes, they did a super job, and it really showed a little bit of poise there after Hanceville came back and had the 13-minute drive to get within 8 points of them, 20-12. Mm-hmm. They showed a lot of poise in coming back and just taking the ball down the field and putting it in the end zone for a big score that made a big difference. Well, you know anything about Fairview's past?
Well, Fairview's been playing football since 1926, and they've had a few seasons off. They played a total of 58 seasons. Their overall record is 219 to 305 with 6 ties, and that's 41.8% winnage percentage. And since I've been around Coleman County football, it's been a lot better than that. Fairview's had some great seasons recently. With George Redding at the helm, they've really had some great years.
Mm-hmm. And Coach Smith had some good years out there as well.
Oh yeah, right. And Coach Britton was out
Britton
there.
Had a couple of
great coaches out there. But this era that I've witnessed has been the Redding era, and it's he's really introduced the spread and ran it well. That's what they do, you know.
When I was playing at Addison in the late 60s, they had just started back playing football. And Coach Thomas was out there, and they played hard, but they just didn't, at that point, they didn't grow up playing football, and
now
you could tell it.
They have something to hang their hat on now, and it's a very impressive spread offense.
Yep, and they have done a very good job, been in the playoffs several years now.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, congratulations to the Fairview Aggies. Great week last week, great win. Not so great this week, though.
No, the Fairview failed this week. They played Randolph, and it was a close game, 29-14. And when you're playing Fairview, they can score quick. So, you know, we didn't get to go to that game, but I bet the ball just bounced the wrong way a few times.
Okay. Well, and we'd encourage you to tune in to Beyond the Scoreboard at other airing times this week at 10:30, of course, right now. Again, next Friday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Then tomorrow morning, Saturday, 9 a.m. Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. and then Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. So those are times you can tune in and watch some of your favorite teams, some footage of their play, and hear us rattle around, I guess.
That's right. And right now we're going to go to a word from our sponsors.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hun.
Eat up, there's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad, the Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless. Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
One of these can be the most dangerous tools you can own. Because if you're careless, even for a minute, this can come into contact with those. Then it's lights out. At our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, nothing is more important than the safety of our members. We can't do it all. The best way to be safe around outdoor power lines, just don't touch them. Ever. The first rule of every do-it-yourselfer should be do it safely.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
All right, welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. And we've got a little bit of footage from tonight's ball games. The first game we're going to show is Addison and Tanner. Very important region ball game for both of these teams. Tanner coming off of a tough overtime loss last week to a very good Talbot County team, and Addison coming off a very close win against a good and talented Vinemont team.
Addison has ran the gauntlet these first three games: Pickens County, Vinemont, and now Tanner. And you've got just three outstanding teams, and it don't get any easier for them next week. They got Falkville next week, I think.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule to start with, especially. But anyway, we've got a few footage here. You're showing some pretty tough running and tackling right here early. They did a very good job. As a matter of fact, early in the ball game, it looked like they had a good chance of coming out on top. But you know, Tanner is the defending state champion twice, 2 years in a row, for a reason.
Yes,
and
they have a lot
us,
of athletes and a lot of speed.
They did, and I thought Addison, they missed some tackles, and I thought every time they missed a tackle, Tanner got better.
Right, you're right.
And so, you know, coming in and playing with confidence is something that Tanner was able to do. And I thought also that every time that they missed a tackle, Addison got a little bit less aggressive.
Well, it was 0-0 coming out of the first quarter. Tanner put up 20 in the second, and then came out second half and added to it. So
you saw a real good hit right there, and here comes the same guy back, and he makes a great tough run right here. Had a little holding on that, I think, but you know, they still have they had some talented running backs back there with the football.
Talented quarterback.
Yes, talented quarterback too. He's very quick. But here they broke a lot of tackles, and that's unusual. You don't see that a lot with an Addison team. But anyway, I think probably the speed, if they ever got on the corner, they would got them.
That's right. Final score was Tanner 34, Addison 0.
All right. And then we had another good ball game that I guess it was a pretty good game, but if you like scoring. And we have Coach Scott on the phone, and we're going to talk about a little bit the Vinemont and Danville game. Coach Scott, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And it was, y'all jumped out to a quick lead, I think, and sometimes that has something to do with the mental picture of from the kids of the rest of the game.
Yes, sir. With about less than a minute left in the first half, it was 32-0. We were up, and I felt like they got the ball back and hit a little trap, and went for about 70 yards and gave them a little life. They came right back out in the second half, returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and now what looked to be a game where we might could get some young guys in earlier turns into a little bit of a battle, and their crowd got into it, and I really hope our kids took away from that once you've got a team down, that you've got to finish them off, and Danville was not ready to go away yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were missing one or two players, correct?
Yes, sir. We had a couple of injuries last week in the Addison game, and we were a few guys down. But, I felt for the most part we're very healthy, especially compared to last year. And so, we came out and played well, I thought, in the first half up until that last play. And, it just kind of gave them some life, and we kind of went back and forth at that point.
The whole team's looking good, but I noticed the line really blocked well, and your running backs are just having some good games so far this season.
Yeah, right now I think our line is very confident in what we're doing and knowing their job and their role, and I got to give them a lot of credit because it's just a job where not a lot of people pat you on the back other than your mom and dad and after the game, but hey, those guys are selling themselves out and giving it up for those running backs so that they can get a crease. And, our backs, obviously, once they get that, can do some things. But, we've got to protect the football better. And we've done that in all three games. We've put the ball on the ground. And that's just something that I've got to, correct as a coach. And we've got to come out better in the second half. I think the last 2 weeks, we've kind of came out flat. So we've got some things that I've got to polish up.
Well, I thought they looked really good when they looked like they needed to look good. Like, when Danville came back in the second half there and had something going, and then y'all got the ball back, you just carried it right down the field and put it in the end zone, with good hard running, but good blocking, some good holes up there.
Absolutely.
And, who are some of those linemen up front? You've got some good experience up there, don't you?
Yes, sir. A lot of seniors. I just go left to right in my mind. Nick Jarrett, Kyle Weems, Hunter Rush, Jason Blanton. We've got in the right guard, Atha Millwood, Mason Lindsay, Blake Melton. All those guys really give it up. And our fullback doesn't get a lot of carries. That was Trey Guthrie and Deke Wright tonight sharing the load there. And, those guys don't get a lot of the publicity in the paper. But, hey, y'all know as well as I do that we don't go without them. So.
Right. That's correct. And I thought your quarterback did a good job of running the offense and getting the reads, and also your running backs. Of course, they've been playing well all year, and I expect that'll continue. Who you got next week, Coach?
We've got Hansville at home. Very big region game for us. And Coach Miller and those guys. I know they had a tough time tonight in Winston County, but they'll be so motivated to play us. They can't see straight, and they've really dominated us the last 4 years, and so our kids have a lot to prove this Friday. Okay, well,
again, congratulations on tonight. Good luck next week and another home game, y'all. And you got your homecoming out of the way, so a lot of distractions are possible there, and so the rest of the year you can look for those minds to be where they ought to be.
I hope so, Coach.
All right, congratulations. Thanks for talking to us. That was Coach Scott. Vinemont Eagles win tonight. Now, we have a few other scores that Coach Netherton's going to let us know about.
As Coach Scott said, or you said, Winston County beat Hansville 41-12 tonight. Oakman had a big win over Holly Pond, 60-26. Vinemont 45 over Danville 26. That's a big area win, and Hansville's 0 for right now, and Vinemont's really rolling. So if Vinemont keeps it up, they'll have that playoff spot cinched pretty quick, I think. And then
they'll have to play well next week, though.
They would. They got to beat.
That is a big one.
They got to beat Hansville, and then Winfield tonight was 35-7 over Susanmore. The area. Addison's in. Addison lost to Tanner, and then Cold Springs had a big win over Southeastern tonight. And that's two. That's two
What's
for
the final
Cold
score
Springs.
on that?
24-14 for Cold Springs.
A little closer than what we really anticipated, but I've got a feeling Coach Elliott probably played several people. We'll try to talk with him a little bit later.
And Good Hope lost a heartbreaker tonight. Had some really good drives down to the goal line and maybe turned the ball over a time or two, but they lost 24-29 to Westminster.
And we've got some footage of that we'll show a little bit later.
And this one, I got the score, and it kind of surprised me and you both, was Locust Fork 32, North Jackson 14.
Yeah, and first thing I said was check it. See, make sure.
Yeah, I checked that score, and that's what it came back as. Aniana was 34-21 over DAR, and Priceville beat Pennington 41-14, and that was 4A Region 7. In 5A Region 7, Boaz beats Butler 52-22. Etowah 47 over Douglas 6. Fairview gets beat tonight by Randolph 29-14.
That puts Fairview in a tough situation.
It does.
They're going to have to win against some teams that traditionally are a little bit better than Randolph, but Randolph may have some pretty good kids up there this year.
And their region's always tough.
Yeah.
And Gunnersville wins tonight over Madison County, and both those are good teams, 19-14. So that's a close
great game. Yeah.
So Fairview's got a tough region. That's just, and they always do. But like I said, Fairview plays well. 5A Region 8, we got East Limestone beat Pope John Paul 49-10. Lawrence County beats Ardmore 28-21. Russellville over J.O. Johnson, 26-25.
That's a little closer than I would have anticipated.
Right, and then West Point, big win tonight over Columbia, 42-14.
That was a big win.
6A Region 8, that's Coleman's region. Coleman had a bye week this week. Decatur plays Austin, which is a matchup we usually see later, but it's 28-21 Decatur. Florence thumps Muscle Shoals 39-20, which I would have thought that had been a little closer. I know both those teams have tremendous talent.
They do.
Hartselle beats Athens 24-21. And then finally Region 6A-7, we've got...
and in that region, Coleman was off tonight.
Coleman was off, so next week they'll jump back in the mix. That was one of those odd regions, but maybe that works out good for Coleman. Sometimes the extra week off don't hurt. 6A Region 7, Albertville beats Lee Huntsville 22-0. Fort Payne beats Arab 38-27. Arab's improved this year, I think.
Yeah.
I think Arab's a better team than we've seen. Southside Gaston, we didn't get a score on that one. Scottsboro beats Brewer 33-14, and some other notable scores. Madison Academy 53 over West Morgan 0, and Hoover finally picks up a win 12-0 over Mount Brook.
Okay. All right. Now then, the band of the week this week. We're fixing to look at the Cold Springs Marching Eagles.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts has just the gift you need for that special someone. Find a tote bag or build a bow. Peruse our selection of baby items. Or choose a nice piece of jewelry by Chameleon. And while you're here, let us take care of all your monogramming needs. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts. The best gifts are from the heart.
It's true. The only time we think about electricity is when the power goes out. Then every minute seems like an eternity. Luckily, as a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative, the people working on our behalf have the training, high-tech resources, and motivation to restore power as quickly and as safely as humanly possible. See what I mean? When it comes to electricity, you know you have an outstanding team working for you when you hardly notice them at all.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's how many registered nurses the national job market will need in this decade. Will you be one of them? Across the country, that's the median annual pay for RNs. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Well, welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. We've got a couple of teams now, footage that we want to show. We a little disappointed in the outcome, but not in the kids and the way they played. But first of all, we're going to have a little bit of Hanceville, Winston County. And this is Hanceville catching the ball there and going for it. That'd be Dante Reese running the football, number 8. He had a very good game against Fairview.
He's a strong runner. We got to see him last week a good bit to tote the football.
Yeah, well, he looks like he's going to be carrying it quite a bit in this game as well.
Yeah, here he is again with the run. And, you know, Hanceville had a lot of speed at quarterback and receiver. And, you know, they're one of these teams where, you know, hopefully it's going to come together a little bit better in the season. Winston County got the better of them tonight. Winston County's a good football team, and they came on top 41-12. You know, Winston County usually has a few good athletes every year. A good quarterback, a few good running backs. Traditionally, they always have a pretty good team and a few good athletes.
Pretty quick kid there, running tough, lowering his head and getting an extra couple of yards there.
Here we see number 6 make a tackle. That's Austin Coker.
Good cut right then. And looked like might have been a little push in the back right there, but I reckon they do that all the time now. Interception there, it looked like. So that was probably a big play. I don't know if turnovers played a part in this game, but it was just one of those games when Winston County could do very little wrong, and had a great night offensively. And they played very well last week offensively.
That's right.
I think they stuck 60-something points up on Lynn last week.
That's right. Yeah, Winston County, like I say, good strong offense, good quarterback, a lot of speed. And Hanceville, you know, they've got a lot of speed at quarterback and receiver too. Just, you know, sometimes it's depth. Maybe, you know, how many guys you got on the sideline really plays a part in some of these games.
Yeah. Yep, sure does. And there's another interception.
It looks like turnovers may have been a big part of this game.
Turnovers may have been a big part of it. That and, well, there's a couple of missed tackles right there, but and as I was talking about the Addison Tanner game, missed tackles I thought was a key to that as far as kids getting their confidence up and just beginning to play with more confidence, enthusiasm, and things like that.
A good-looking pitch from Mr. Hurst right there.
All right, now we have a little bit of footage of the Good Hope and Westminster Christian game. Westminster Christian used to have a very good 1A, 2A team, and now they've moved up in classification. That's over in the Anniston area.
And Good Hope got that young quarterback that's been playing pretty good, pretty strong. They've
Heisman boy.
Yeah, they tonight they drove the field, got down to the 5-yard line, 2-yard line, and had a turnover, and ended up making the difference in the game. Maybe not directly, but 29-24, Good Hope falls to Westminster. The Good Hope traditionally hard hitting team.
There's Jared McClure running the football. He's going to have a good year, I'm sure, if he can stay healthy. But he turned the ball over right there. He fumbled it. So, that's
turnovers will get you beat.
Yep. It's hard to overcome against a good football team with some good athletes. And, Westminster they didn't turn it over there. That very well could have. But 17-6 at this point. And, last week Good Hope got behind and was able to come back, not quite make it. But they've got a young football team, young quarterback, as you said already. And so as the season progresses, I anticipate they'll be getting a little bit better.
I think them and Hanceville both are just going to get better and better. And as Coach Scott said, Hanceville plays Vinemont this week, and I've witnessed it myself. They typically always play up for the Vinemont team. It's just one of those things where you can pretty much count on them playing hard against Vinemont.
Should be the Good Hope, but Hanceville and Vinemont coming up next week should be a very tough ball game for both teams. And right now we're going to try to get Coach Elliott on the phone. He had another big win tonight.
Another big win. Cold Springs is rolling.
All right, Coach Elliott.
Yes.
Big game tonight, and another good win for you.
I've learned growing up through the years that you never underestimate a win, and that's probably the best way to describe that one tonight.
Okay, I understand. I've been there before. But, sometimes when kids are not totally dumb, they look at film on other teams and they sort of evaluate them in the back of their mind. And even though, when it comes game time, they think they're ready to play, many times they just haven't done the mental prep that they needed to do.
Well, you probably hit that one right on that nail right on the head as far as it goes. But I've got a ton of young kids. They're experiencing new things every week. They as much as I hate to say it, they like to read papers and they like to do those type things. And sometimes you're right. I think maybe mentally we're not quite where we need to be. But I keep going back to the fact that you never underestimate a win, and we're tickled to death with the win, and we get to move on to play the next game. And as far as it goes right now, we're 3-0 on the season, and we're tickled for our kids, and that's good.
And it was a region win.
That's right, big win.
But here's the thing: let's go back 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, and when we're looking at that upcoming opponent, y'all's vision has changed from being the underdog to being the superior team going in, and so that's a great plus.
There's no doubt about that. Along with building your program and getting your program to win week in, week out, those things come along with it, and they got to learn how to win on nights when they don't play very well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And,
that's the key. Good football teams win when they don't play well.
Yeah. And like I said, we got the win, and we're real tickled about that, especially now.
Yeah. And I can understand that. But like the main point I'm trying to make in that is that you're no longer that team that everybody else is possibly overlooking. You are now that team that everybody's looking at that, hey, we're going to have to play if we're going to win this one. And so, that's a great compliment to the program there and to those kids that are playing at Cold Springs.
Yeah, and that is the case. Our kids, they expect to win now, and they expect to go out and play well. And it's hard. It's hard week in, week out sometimes to give our best. And I thought we played really well last week, first half of the game, and we didn't this week. But I thought we executed and played really well the last 8 minutes of the first half.
Sometimes, though, in order to improve, you've got to see that you need improvement.
Yeah. Well, we certainly need some improvements, that's for sure.
Well, like you said, Coach, you got a young team. I looked at the roster. You got 6 12th graders on the team, and so the future's bright.
Well, yeah, it is, and we've got a ton of 10th graders that are playing in some key positions. And, like I said, it's a new experience for them every time they walk out there, whether they're 3-0 or whatever the case may be. And you can't learn from things until you go through them. Mm-hmm. And we went through one tonight that hopefully we learned quite a bit from. I certainly hope so.
It's in the books now.
Yep. And who you got next week?
Well, we got Tanner. I think they've got a pretty good football team, but I'm not real sure yet. I haven't seen them on film, but I think they'll be really good. What do y'all think?
No, they're pretty good.
We've seen them on the field.
I say that with a ton of sarcasm.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. We got to witness the first half at Addison tonight, and they got, as you'll know a lot more about it than us when you watch films. But their quarterback and their backfield, they got a lot of team speed, and they play hard, and they're 2-time state champions for a reason.
Yeah, I know that. And like I said, I was using a tad bit of sarcasm there. I certainly understand what we're about to get into, and I certainly expect the kids to go up there and play hard and play well. And we're not going to accept not playing hard and not playing well. And we'll just kind of let it see where it goes.
Well, let me say this: they are not unbeatable. And if y'all play y'all's best and they play they just play average, you've got a good chance. You better wrap up when you tackle. That was the one thing that I thought Addison did not do as good a job as they normally do. But it could have been the running backs that they were trying to tackle, but they did not do. Started out first quarter, Tanner had very little going, but then when they broke one run and it was a holding call that brought it back, and they probably should have had one every play, but when they broke one run there, it just seemed like Addison's confidence just went out the window, and Tanner's just said, yeah, we can do this. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it wound up from then on. So that's one thing. You just have to keep your kids believing, playing hard, and you got a chance.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We definitely will go up there expecting to win.
That's right.
And we'll prepare kids to win, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, we're not conceding anything, and we're not going to look there and concede anything. It may be at the end of the night, it may not go the way we want it to, but when we go up there, we're going to prepare to win, and we're going to not concede anything, and we'll try to control the game the way we can control it, and see how it goes from there. And and hopefully we learned quite a bit this week. Sometimes our coach at Coach Springs, he gets a little stubborn. And maybe tries to prove a point or two. on nights that the point needs to be proved. I don't know if you understand exactly what I mean by that, but like tonight, I felt like we probably could have threw the ball anytime we wanted to. We threw the ball really well tonight, and I was a little bit stubborn on trying to throw it because I kind of felt like we didn't need to throw it tonight. I don't know, maybe our coach needs to have a little bit better game plan next week, maybe.
Well, best I can recall, I think they're 3-0 right now.
Right.
So, it's
okay.
hard to fault too much. But anyway, congratulations on tonight's win. Good luck to you next week, and hope things go great.
Yeah, well, I certainly appreciate that, and thank you very much, and appreciate what y'all doing and letting us get on the radio and talk about our kids. And let me reiterate the point that we are extremely proud of our kids for being 3-0, and they played awfully hard tonight. We might have played real well, but we played awfully hard tonight. And we got good football players here, Coach Springs, and I think we're going to do well this year.
Well, we think so too. Congratulations again. We'll talk with you hopefully next week.
Good luck, Coach.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was Coach Elliott. Cold Springs had another big win tonight. Now we've got one of our favorite parts of the show here. We've got the FCA Student of the Week coming up, and our church sponsors are St. John's Episcopal Church, Bethlehem Missionary, Coleman First Baptist, and Hansville First Baptist churches. They're the ones we can thank for bringing us this FCA Student of the Week. That's Ryder Jones from West Point High School.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Christian Athlete of the Week. And this week it's Ryder Jones, tight end, little defensive tackle, right?
Yes, sir.
For the West Point Warriors. Ryder, it's just an honor to have you on the show.
It's great to be here.
Talk a little bit about your personal relationship with Christ and how it impacts your everyday life.
Well, I was saved at a young age, and it was great to have my parents and friends who were there to support me and help me and teach me the ways and what to do, and it's just been a blessing. He's always been good to me, and I don't thank him enough for what he's done for me.
I appreciate you saying that. And I'm really close with your family, and I know your grandparents passed it on to your parents. Your parents have passed it on to you. And not all students have that support, do they?
No, sir.
How can you and other Christians at West Point reach out to those kids that maybe didn't have that kind of support growing up?
Like I said, I have my friends too, so
sure.
Most people, the friends can be their parents and teach them what they need to do, because we've been in church our whole lives. Maybe they haven't.
That's right.
And we can show them what's good to do and what's right to do, and be a encourager to them.
Well, that's
help
fantastic.
them.
That's great. Let's go to the football field. How does your relationship with Christ impact you as an athlete? And I know you play more than just football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you play basketball. Do you play a spring sport?
Baseball.
Baseball. So the big three, really. And so how does your relationship with Christ impact you as an athlete?
I think it makes you a better athlete, one, but also you can still get fired up and still be a Christian.
Oh, thanks for saying that.
But
amen.
You can get fired up without cussing and getting mad at people. You can just get fired up and be encouraged to your teammates and just have good character and be a good teammate and stuff like that.
Absolutely, right. What you going to do when you get out of school?
Well, I'm thinking about maybe going to Mississippi State and majoring in chemical engineering and maybe become a pharmacist or a vet. I haven't decided yet.
Well, they're both great occupations. That's great. Hey, Ryder, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show,
It's great
man.
to be
It's a
here.
real honor to be here with you, man. And I'll tell your pawpaw that you're doing a lot of good things, Hey, we'll be back with more Beyond the Scoreboard after these messages.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hon.
Eat up, there's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad, the Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless. Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's the projected number of job openings for trained welders this decade. That's the potential salary for welders trained the Wallace State way with the latest robotic technology for manufacturing. Who will you be? Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, and we'd like to again thank our sponsors, Country Financial and Lee Powell, and also Wallace State Community College for helping us to be able to put this on. We want to talk just a little bit about our region standings. Some of them, they're one game into the region, right. So it's it's not all that big right now, but some of these games were real crucial.
The picture's starting to come together.
Yes.
This is a big puzzle, and all the pieces are coming together. And you can look at some of these teams and some of the scores we've called out, and you can kind of see how things are going to shape up for the most part. But you got to play the games. Mm-hmm. That's why we play the games to see who's going to win. In 2A, Region 6, Cold Springs is they've got one win, so that's on top of the region, and so does Tanner. In 3A, Region 5, Oakman's got a win, Vinemont's got a win, and Winfield's got a win. So that's got those guys on the top of the region right now.
And Winston County, I guess, has one.
And Winston County, over Hansville, that's right. Mm-hmm. So those four teams have a win there. And in 4A, Region 7, Locust Fork came out over North Jackson.
That was a surprise to me.
That's a big surprise, and hopefully I got that score right. I got it off a good source. Aniana is over DAR, so they have a win, and then Priceville has a win. So there's.
And I was a little surprised that DAR was able to stay in there as close as that was Aniana DAR.
It was, and if the Steele boy's still the quarterback at DAR, I'm not that surprised.
Okay,
I'm surprised they lost if he's still the quarterback. And Westminster also has one win in that region over Good Hope. So that's the four teams in that region with wins. So once again, that's Westminster, Locust Fork, Aniana, Priceville on top of Region 4 or Region 7 of 4A. Region 5A, Region 7, Boaz, Etowah, and Gunnersville all have wins. So they're sitting on top of that region. Region 8, 5A, East Limestone, Lawrence County, Russellville, and West Point, all sitting on top of that region. So West Point's in good shape. 6A, Region 8, we got Decatur, Florence, and Hartselle all got wins and sitting on top of that region. Coleman didn't play tonight, so they're not behind like these other teams that didn't get wins are. Yeah. They just hadn't played yet. 6A, Region 7, Albertville got a win, Fort Payne and Scottsboro, so they're ahead of the game right now. All those teams we mentioned, the Hoovers, the Madison Academies, all got a win in the region, so those guys are sitting on top.
Hoover got their first win tonight.
The first one that counts was a win.
Yeah.
That doesn't shock me.
And they beat
Mountain Brook.
Mountain Brook's usually pretty tough. Got a little bit of Fairview ties there.
I think Mountain Brook fell last week to Huntsville High School, and then they on a Thursday night game, and then this week they fell to Hoover. But 12-0, so they're both very good teams.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tonight's our unsung hero. This week, our band parents. They put a lot into it. As you see, some of them coming up here. And, it'd be nice to be able to show the band parents from every school, but, we're not able to be at every school. So it's not, you see all the work that they do. They set up instruments, they set up drums, stands for the director,
maybe the most
drum major.
Yeah, the drum major. Maybe the most expensive extracurricular activity might be band, marching band. All the instruments and all the uniforms and all the props and everything these people have to do with the travel, and it's a large undertaking. It's you got to be an event planner just to figure out who's going where and what's going with them.
As a football coach, many times I guess maybe got irritated sometime when they got in the way, but I really appreciated the bands and what they added to the games and to the sport and to the school spirit and stuff.
I commented tonight on Vinemont's band.
Yes, you did.
It's the best I've heard in a while, and I know Good Hope's band. We get to hear them at we got to hear some of their people at our teacher assembly at the beginning of the year. They're outstanding, and all the county bands, if they most of those kids work really hard and it shows, and they sound great.
And one of the things about participating in band, it's something you can carry the rest of your life.
That's right.
I wished I could play football all my life.
Right.
But, right now it's probably pretty obvious I couldn't do it. But, a lot of these people who learn a little bit about music are still able to carry it with them.
I played the trumpet in 7th grade.
No, I didn't know
I was
that.
in the band until 7th grade.
I knew you was a blowhard. I just didn't know where it came from.
There's a trumpet. That's where it came from.
Okay. All right. We will be back right after this message for the final segment of Beyond the Scoreboard.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts has just the gift you need for that special someone. Find a tote bag or build a bow. Peruse our selection of baby items. Or choose a nice piece of jewelry by Chameleon. And while you're here, let us take care of all your monogramming needs. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts. The best gifts are from the heart.
When energy prices start to rise, a single electric co-op can only do so much. That's why your Touchstone Energy Cooperative taps the combined ideas and resources of co-ops locally and nationally to deliver electricity at the best price possible. And in that unity, every member gains strength. Together we can take control of the future, instead of the future taking control of us.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back, and if you guys want to catch some great games this week and go out and support your communities, then there's some really good games on tap. Boaz is at Fairview this Friday night. Collinsville is at Holly Pond. Hansville's at Vinemont. Florence is at Coleman, and Addison is at Falkville. So that's 5 matchups this week that are local high school games that would be outstanding for the community to go out and support those teams. And not only do you get something out of it, but the schools get something out of it too.
And a couple of those really big games, Coleman and Florence.
Yeah,
Florence,
oh yeah.
Didn't you say Florence won tonight over most
Florence
of the show?
won, so they're looking like they may be one of the better teams in that region. So if Coleman can upset Florence right there, that would really start their region rollings off right, and you know, who knows how that could end up. And then Addison-Falkville, Addison lost to a good Tanner team tonight, so if they want a shot for the playoffs, they got to start winning.
Yeah, and
so
Falkville had a bye tonight.
Falkville had a bye, so they're not behind the 8 ball, but that's an important game for both those teams. Hansville-Vinemont. Hansville's got to win. It's pretty much Hansville's going to have to win. And Vinemont is rolling really good right now, so you know, go out and support the Eagles or the Bulldogs, and that'll be a good game.
All right, there's some really good high school games coming up next week. But let's talk a little bit about college games. There's some real doozies coming up tomorrow, aren't there?
Well,
who's Alabama play?
Alabama has got a FAU. So
Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just go on the record, throw this one out there. I think the Tide is going to roll.
Okay.
I'm going to throw that one out there.
You think maybe they can determine, get a little quarterback controversy there?
Right. And Auburn has San Jose State.
San Jose State. Okay. That should be another.
Yeah, I think you could go ahead and say that Alabama and Auburn are going to go into week 3 in pretty good shape.
So I think Auburn's probably going to get to play 2 quarterbacks again this week.
Right, and it'd be interesting to see if Alabama plays 2 or if they just stick with 1.
Yeah. All right, what else you got there?
Florida is not going to make their game up last week against Idaho. I don't know if you caught that or not. Yeah. They got rained out. They the lightning and the weather make them cancel that one, and now they're playing EMU this week.
Okay, toughie.
Yeah, another tough game.
Eastern Montana?
So it's a win is what it is. So Georgia Bulldogs are open, and then Kentucky's got Ohio. So yeah, and that'll be an interesting game. I think it's at Kentucky.
Yeah, should be. Kentucky seemed to be quite improved, so maybe they'll be able to roll next week.
Mississippi State has UAB.
Okay, UAB
at Mississippi State though.
Well, I'm not really sure about Troy this year. Troy traditionally been pretty tough in the last 10 or 15 years.
I've heard a lot of commentators say that this ain't the UAB of past, that they've evolved a little bit. And now Mississippi State's a big team, one of the biggest teams in the SEC. So you got UAB fast-paced offense, and then you got Mississippi State, a big-body team. So it'll be interesting to see how they play on the field. But that'll be a game worth watching, I think.
Well, there's enough good football players in Alabama that we can field more than one team or 2 teams.
That's right, yeah.
All right, what else?
Missouri plays Toledo, and like I said, I think Toledo got a win last week, but I don't think they'll get a win against Missouri.
Toledo, they won't be a pushover, but I think Missouri will win.
Vandy and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Vandy didn't look very good last week.
Yeah,
Ole Miss didn't look good, but they looked a little bit better. I'm going to go with Ole Miss on that one.
South Carolina versus Eastern Carolina.
South Carolina looked horrible.
Yeah.
But I think they'll still have enough. I think they will be determined enough to get better this week, and I think Eastern Carolina is in trouble. Bad week to play.
Bad week to play, that's right. And I think their quarterback play will be better, and I think that'll be the catalyst for that win. Tennessee had a big week last week. Of course, they played on Sunday, so I don't know about that. But they've got Arkansas State this week.
Arkansas State.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Malzahn was, isn't he?
Right.
Okay. And they've played pretty good football, but they're still not SEC caliber.
Right.
So.
Texas A&M, which is the big talk. Everybody in the world is talking about Texas A&M because of what they did last
fantastic.
week. And they're playing Lamar this week, so I think they'll walk this week. And then Vandy.
Is that Hedda Lamar? You remember Hedda Lamar back in the 20s and 30s?
No, I don't.
All right, go ahead.
I don't remember that. That's it. Let me think. Was there one I missed? I think that's it for the SEC. Arkansas has NSU, and I think that's it. So, like I said,
Georgia open. Georgia's off.
And Georgia played outstanding last week. So
yes.
Georgia won last week 45-21 over Clemson.
Okay, so
and people didn't expect that, I think, out of Clemson.
No, I think they expected Clemson to be a little bit better even at this stage. But it's sort of like Addison. I think they lost some confidence there.
Right.
A little bit when things started going badly, and it just turned out that way. Well, tomorrow would be a good day to be traveling. If you happen to need to do some traveling, you can probably listen to these on radio and be just about as well off as you would sitting watching them on TV.
Or the SEC network, right? The new SEC network. I'm sure a lot of these will be on that. And then, yeah, I actually listened to the Alabama game last week on the radio.
And for those people foolish enough to schedule weddings in football season, tomorrow'd be all right.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you being with us tonight on Beyond the Scoreboard. Look forward to some action next week and hope to see you back.